Charlie McGrath, I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com. I'm a host on the Rinse Radio Network, and I'm the co-founder of Doomcast. If you don't think that the events going on in Ferguson are bigger than just Ferguson and what happens with this cop, is he going to be indicted? Are they going to prosecute him? They're probably not. He's probably going to, there's not going to be any prosecution, and we're going to see protests, and we're going to see a lot of ticked off people. But if you don't think for 1 second that things are changing in this country, that we're heading towards more of a nation that if you dare to speak out against the government or against in so-called law enforcement, that you're going to be branded as not only a rabble-rouser or a potential thug or goon who's out there rioting and causing trouble, you're going to be branded a terrorist. We saw this earlier this week when the FBI alluding to and have been alluding to people who push back against the government as being potential domestic terrorists, calling out people who are getting gas masks or bulletproof vests. It only makes sense because in the last riots in Ferguson, the tear gas canisters and the rubber bullets, they flew. So naturally, if you're going to be a reporter covering this, you're going to want yourself a bulletproof vest or a gas mask. If you're going to be a protester and you don't want to just cower and comply, you're going to want this kind of thing. But when we see the governor come out declaring a state of emergency, when we see the National Guard being mobilized, and now we see the Department of Homeland Security coming in and preparing for what could be a very, very ugly event. But it goes even further than that. Like I said in the video, it's not as much about this case, this cop, and the unfortunate events that led to this young teenager's death. It goes even further because when we look at the response, right, the comply or else response, it's a very, very enlightening moment in our nation. Because as I said in the video, we're going to start to hear state of emergency more and more across this country as things continue to deteriorate. And we're going to being labeled things like terrorist more and more the more we decide we are going to stand up and not comply. Take, for an example, Mr. Mark Paffrath. He was an employee of a hotel chain 30 minutes away from Ferguson. He'd worked there for a year and a half. Now, Thursday, he was at his job that he's been doing for a year and a half, and he's down in the parking garage, and he sees 70-plus Department of Homeland Security vehicles down in the parking garage, hiding out. The public isn't supposed to know they're there. 70-plus vehicles on the side of them, Federal Protective Services police. I'll attach the story with this video. They're sitting there in waiting for something to erupt inside of Ferguson. Now, Mark, being slightly awake, it seems, decided he was going to snap a few pictures, take a short video, and post it on social media. Now, he posts the Department of Homeland Security 70-plus vehicles, and the very next day, his manager calls him in and says, you got to take the pictures down. You got to take the videos down. Now, Mark complies. He doesn't, he's in fear for his job, so he complies, takes it down. The very next day, Saturday, he's called into the manager's office again. However, this time, the head of security for the corporate hotel chain is there and says, your services are no longer required, and in fact, calls him a terrorist and dishonestly served his country. Now, this is what it's coming to, folks. This is what it's coming to. If you dare show your government tax dollars, right, in the form of 70 Homeland Security vehicles, if you dare to show them through social media or public media or say anything disparaging about it or the situation, you're going to be labeled a terrorist. And in this case, he believes, anyway, Mark believes, and I'm assuming his lawyer does as well, that because the DHS threatened to take away the $150,000 contract from this corporate chain, that he was fired. He was let go. He was the first day, Friday, he was given a warning. The second day, head of security, he's fired. He's gone. This is what is coming to in America. If you disagree, if you dissent, if you stand up for yourself, if you show, in this case, how tax dollars are being spent, you will be branded a terrorist, and you will have your fellow co-workers, in a lot of cases, going right along with it. If I'm supposed to tell you you're a terrorist, I better do it. Because if I don't, the Stasi-style police state will cost me my job, or cost me my future, or put me into jail. This is the path we are going on. A Stasi-style police state where we inform on one another, we're afraid of everything, and if the government says we should jump, we don't ask questions, we just say, how high? Stories are attached. That's all I got.